tell me more about being an introvert. Like you said you had some data around, being successful as an introvert. I think a lot of people think that that's uncommon, that maybe those who are financially successful in business, who are also introverts, are the exception to the rule. But is that even the case?
No, it's totally not. And I will tell you this, I have some notes here. I can dive right in. So if you want me to dive right in, I'll go right in.
Let's dive.
The way I look at it is, and I've joined your coaching group, right? I really have found success in that, as far as not using being an introvert as an excuse to do certain things. So I've come out of my shell a lot from being in your group. And by that, I mean the video on social media, for example. I used to get like the sweats and
yes.
My mouth was cotton, and it's like I'd freeze up and I'd re-record it like 5,000 times. And, you're like the kick in the ass that I needed to do that. So now I do videos like it's second nature. Like it's like I just flick on the record and I'm like, hey guys, I'm here at this house. I'm doing all these videos, and I'm not doing a ton. Like I need to do more, right? We always can grow, but I feel like I've had some growth just since joining your group. And so I've kicked that excuse, the video excuse, right? I can tell you there are a couple of things I will never do in this business. I will never cold call. I will never door knock. I did it once, and it was the most draining thing for me. It was an open house, so at least it was a listing. I wasn't trying to get somebody's business. But those are just things I will never do. I never had to do them in insurance, and I was very successful at what I did. I will never do them. So, while I am growing in video, I'm growing towards things that actually fill my bank and give me joy and give me energy. So those are the things that I'm focusing on. So I have some pillars of notes, and one of the pillars is figuring out what lead generation fills your bucket, fills your energy, fills your bank, whatever you want to call it. So for me, the number one is social media. I got all of my business, I would say 95% of my business, off of social media last year. The other 5% would have been, people who know me, or referrals, or family, 100% off social media. And then my second bucket would be like your sphere and referrals. And then my third bucket would be farming. So farming is something I'm trying to get into because I'm trying to stay ahead of the market curve. If we have a correction, or if we have anything that changes in the market, I'm trying to get ahead of that. So farming is kind of on my list right now of diving in and investing a lot of money in. So I think it's just, some of it might be excuses. Like we use being an introvert as, a way of staying in our comfort zone. It's like, I'm an introvert. I'm not going to do video. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. But just seeing the growth in the video aspect has definitely made me want to explore other avenues, not the cold calling and not the door knocking, and definitely not networking events. I will do conventions. I like events. I like things that are self-growth. But just random, hey, meet for happy hour so you can network. No, that's not my highest and best use of time. I don't get anything from it. So
yes. Well, and you mentioned social, like you've really thrived with social. A lot of people, like you said, they use being an introvert as an excuse why they can't or why they don't. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a better tool for an introvert than social media. You can reach thousands, tens of thousands, millions of people, literally, without ever having to talk to somebody face to face. Like, is there a better tool for an introvert? You don't ever have to talk to anyone but this lens in front of you, and you can still reach millions of people potentially. That's powerful shit. And I mean, you got 95% of your business from social, so it obviously works. What are you, when you first became an agent, or let's back up. How did you talk to me about your progression of, getting comfortable, and, what was originally like what was hard for you about social, and then what have you learned along the way? Let's go with that.
Well, what was hard for me was the content and trying to figure out what people wanted to see.
Yeah.
And I would post things that I wanted people to see. Mm-hmm. And then I started figuring out, of course, from your coaching group, we talked about things that you have to kind of step out of your own zone and put yourself in a buyer or a seller's shoes, or whoever your ideal client is, put yourself in their shoes and what they would want to see. And so I just started doing that and then having fun with the content and throwing everything in the air and saying, screw it. I don't really care what people think about me. I'm tired of figuring, are they going to judge me because I don't sound right, or I don't have a filter or whatever, I just got tired of that and I threw caution to the wind. I do subscribe to a content platform that does help me. They aid in I don't get all of it from there, but they just kind of aid me. They give me guides, they give me captions, templates. It's a lot of stuff. And it
Nice.
has been really helpful. In fact, I started it during COVID. So when COVID, beginning of 2020, when there was this like weird lull in the market, we didn't know what was going on. I spent like probably 3 months and hit it heavy. I was posting every day. I didn't do a ton of video. I was on stories, and honestly, I know this is beating a dead horse, and I know we talk about this, but consistency is the most powerful thing you can do in your business. I don't care if you choose to door knock. I don't care what your lead gen is. If you stay consistent at it, you're eventually going to get results. I mean, it's a numbers game. So that's what I did with social media. It took me about 3 to 4 months until I got my first message, and they're like, hey, we're relocating to the area. We'd really like to talk to you about buying a home. And I was like, oh,
Sweet.
okay, well, that's cool. Let's set up a buyer's consult.